I created this mixtape app as a gift to myself as my birthday is right around the corner. I don't think mixtapes can ever go out of style. So I shortlisted 11 of my favorite songs of all time and created a standalone app in reality. First off, I'm going to start by importing the background image. For that, I have this image ready. I'm going to just drag it and drop it inside my assets folder. Then I'll import the image background component and I'm going to use it here. First off, as always, source is going to come. And the name of our image, that is mixtape.jpg. Next off, I'm going to set the resize mode to cover. And lastly, I'm going to style it using the flex property. I'm using the inline style sheet, hence I've written 2 curly brackets instead of 1. I'll go down here and delete these 2 things. And there you go, the image has come. Next, I want some heading here at the top. So for that, I'm thinking I'll put an image first and then a text. So I'm going to use this particular image. I'm going to drag this again inside the assets folder. Open my simulator back up for checking the output. And first of all, I'm going to import an image component now. Then inside this image background, I'm going to create a parent view component and then an image, which is going to be self-closing, of course, and add that image. So similar to your image background, image component also has a source props and then which I don't require there. This time the name of the image is going to be music.png. So the image is coming and I've kept this image because this is a mixtape app and there should be some music components related in this app. Next off, I'm going to start by styling. I'll just use the inline style sheet. I'll give margin maybe top. It has to go a little bit up, so I'm going to start with negative numbers. I think this looks fine. Next comes the text. It has to be capital. And then I'll write the heading. That is going to be mixtape for me. And that's my name. Now, of course, we have to style it. So I'm going to go down, use the style sheet for styling it. So I'm going to give it a label. I'm going to call it as text design. And then we will start with the styling. I'm going to start by adding the color to the text. That I'm going to set it to plain white. And it's always a better option to add the style sheet so that we can see the changes real time. And if you don't like something, it will be very easy for you to change that if you're able to see it. So the name of our style sheet and the name of the label. Okay, so the text has changed to white color. Moving on, I'm going to add a background color as well. And I've prepared a hex code, and that is 81D8D0. This particular color, by the way, I have got from this website which gives awesome colors, and the color name is Tiffany Blue. I'm going to link this website in the description box below. So if you want to use this color or maybe some other hex code color, this website is a very good option for getting the colors that you want. Next off, I'm going to give some border width. Border width, I'll set it to 5. And then border color, that I'll set it to white as well. Next is border radius, so that there is some curvedness in the border, not too much though. I'm going to set to 30. And let us go ahead and add some font size. Okay, the size is now good, but as you can see, these colors are overflowing. That means the border is ending here. However, the background color is going outside of the border. For stopping this, there is a very good mechanism that React Native provides. It's called as overflow, and that if we set it to hidden, then the colors are not going to overflow outside of the border. I'm going to use the text align for keeping it in the center. And width, I'm going to set it to 75%. That is 75% of the parent width or 75% of the device width in this case. Height is going to come, I'm going to set it to 60 pixels. And then font family, this is one particular family that I really like, just called as Papyrus, maybe with a capital P. Yep. And lastly, I'm going to give some margin top to the text, and since it is too low, of course I'm going to set it to -120. It's not in the center, so we will use align self, and then I'll set it to center. Hopefully that will solve the issue. Perfect. So our heading is ready. Next, I'm going to start by creating some buttons which will be used for playing the songs. For that, I'm going to, of course, import touchable opacity from the React Native library. Just below where our heading is ending, I'm going to create a parent view. And in here, I'm going to start by creating the touchable opacity component. I'm planning on using an image for my touchable opacity button. So this is the image that I'm going to use. I'm going to just go ahead and drag it, put it here inside my assets. Let us start by adding the image. The name of our image is button.png. There you go, the button is coming. So I'm going to create a text as well. Here, actually, I'll write down the name of my first song. Let us go ahead and style these two components, the touchable opacity and the text. Justify content, I'll set it to center. Align items, that to the center as well. Third is going to be align self to center again. And let us go ahead and add it so that we can see the changes. The name of our style sheet dot the label. I'm going to add two more things, that is width and height. Width, I'll set it to 200 for now. And height, or maybe the height is fine. Let me give some margin to it. Margin top, I'll set it to 50. Okay, better. Now for the text, I'm going to create a label. I'm going to call it as text design. No, text design is already taken, so I'm going to call it as button text. Oops. Color, I'll set it to white. It's throwing error because here a comma is required. Let me remove the empty spaces. Let's go ahead and use it so that we can see the changes real time. To use style, the name of our style sheet, styles.button text. Okay, so it has changed to white. I'm going to do font size. I'll set it to 35 again. I'll do text align, that I'll set it to center. Font family, that I'm going to use my favorite again, that is Papyrus. Margin top, I'll set it to a -100. I think the text size is too big, it's not fitting inside the button. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce it to 25 or maybe 28. Maybe this as well, I'll set it to 90. So our first button is ready. In the same manner, I'm going to create 10 more buttons. That is, I'm going to have in total 11 songs. I wanted to decrease the list though, however, 11 is the bare minimum that I need to have in my Mixtape app. So I'm going to use the famous and the most powerful technique in coding, that is copy paste, and I'm going to do it 11 times. I have created 10 buttons, however, it is going outside of the screen. So for that, the normal view component that I have used has to be changed. I'm going to first of all import the scroll view from the React Native library, and this parent view has to go. I'll change it to scroll view. I'll cut this one from here, go to the very bottom and put it here. Perfect. Let me count if I have 11 buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11, but it is barely to be seen. The button should not come on the entire screen, so this scroll view will take some flex property. I'm going to use the inline style sheet. I'll set the flex to 0.6. I'll go ahead and quickly style this view as well, because this has to have flex as well. Flex, I'm going to set it to 0.2. Okay, I think one view got pushed here to the very end, so that has to go. I'm going to cut it from here, and just below this, just below the heading, that view should get closed. So now it's fine. This is one view. This is for the heading here, and I have given it 20%, that is 0.2. Next, the songs, I have set it to 0.6. Moving ahead, I need to have a stop button. So for that, at the very bottom where the scroll view is ending, I'm going to create one parent view and touchable opacity. This time I'll be using a different kind of button. I have the image ready with me. I'm simply going to drag it inside the assets folder. Now let us go ahead and add the image. Require, and this time the name of our image is stop button .png. Okay, the stop button is coming, but it just needs a little bit of styling. I will be using the same style sheet what I used for these buttons for the song. So style equals styles, which is the name of our style sheet, dot button design. Next will be the text. I'll write on stop song here in the text, and I'll go ahead and style this as well. And I believe the label was button text. It's taking too much of space, so for that I'm going to add the flex to solve this problem. I'll be using the inline style sheet this time. I'll just set the flex to 0.2. And it needs to have some additional property of margin, I guess. And also this first button, that also needs to have an additional property of margin top. So we'll just add margin top to both these buttons, the first one and the stop button. So if you need to add extra styling, first of all, you need to put it inside the square brackets, give a comma and then curly brackets, and go ahead and add the margin. Margin top, I'll set it to -20. It's looking a little better. Now for this button, which is getting too much at the top, that also has to have some margin. Again, I'll start with the square brackets and then the curly ones. I'll set margin top, and this time I'll set it to +15. Also, let us give some padding here at the last button because it's not properly visible. So I'm going to scroll back down, search for the last button that is just above our stop song. Here it is. I'll give some padding, and especially at the bottom. Let us see. Okay, so now the last button is properly visible. Even the first button is not getting cut at all. The stop song is also visible. Now the last thing left to do in the UI is to change the song names. Of course, I cannot keep the same songs for all the 11 buttons, so I'm going to go ahead and add all the 11 songs in my Mixtape app that I really like. After adding all the songs, I'm going to make these buttons functional. That is, it should actually play the songs. For that, first off, I'm going to install the Expo AV library. I'm exiting out of the terminal, stopping the server. And then here I'm going to write on Expo install Expo AV. AV stands for audio video. Since we are going to play some audio, that is why I'm installing this particular library. After the installation gets completed, I'm going to go ahead and import the audio component from the library that I've just now installed. So I'm going to import from expo-av, and the component name is capital A audio. Next, I'm going to start by creating a function that will be responsible for playing the song. So I'll name the function as play sound equals, and it is going to be an asynchronous function which is going to accept a URL as the argument. This URL is going to be the song URL. Starting off with a function, since it is a synchronous function, I'm going to start off with await audio dot set is enabled async. That I'm going to set it to true. Later on, while using the stop button, this true is going to change to false and the song is going to stop. I'm going to use one more await for the sound. Create a sync. Here it accepts an argument of URI, which is going to be same as our URL. And then lastly, I'm going to change should play to true. That's it. This function has to be above return and not below return. Just please remember that whenever we create a function, we have to put it above return, and that's the mistake that I did. Now there is no error. We are going to use this particular function on press of the button. So this is the first button. Here I'm going to use the props of on press. And here I'm going to call the play sound function that I've just created with the argument as URL. Now this URL I'll declare just above the function. As I mentioned earlier, this URL is the URL of our song. So for getting the URL for the song, we have to do two things. First of all, you have to download the song. Secondly, we have to convert the song into a compatible node so that it can be used with the React Native app. So for that, I'm going to use the glitch website for converting so that it becomes compatible with our React Native app. So for our first step, I've already downloaded the songs and I've kept here on my system. For the second step, I'm going to open the website glitch. This website is really amazing and I love using this website in my project. It converts the MP3 file into the compatible format for our React Native apps and it is totally free. I'm going to link this in the description box below. So first of all, you have to click on new project here and then we have to click on glitch hello node. Make sure to click on this hello node. Next, while it is loading, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller so that it is easier for me to upload the file. I'm going to simply go ahead and leave it here. Anywhere will do, or just it has to be on the website. It is uploading the asset. And once it is done, it will generate a link that we can use it in our app. So now as you can see, it has converted the file and this is the link that it has given me. So I'm going to go ahead and open it, copy this particular URL, and then I'm going to go back, fire up my simulator and add this URL in our function here. So the song button is working fine. Next we have to make the stop song button also work. So for that I'm going to scroll down and find till I get the stop song button. And here in the touchable opacity, I'm going to use the props of on press, passing an empty function here. And then I'll write an audio dot set is enabled async, and this time I'm going to set it to false. So as soon as you press on this stop song button, this audio.set enabled async is going to set to false and that is going to stop the sound. This is a functionality provided by the audio component of the Expo AV library that we had imported a few minutes back. Now the last thing to do before our app is all set is to add all the URL for the songs here that I have added. So using the same website glitch, I have uploaded all the MP3 files and then it has converted into a compatible Node format so that I can use it in my React Native app directly. I'm going to go ahead and add all the files here. Now it's the time to add all the URLs. So I have added all the URLs. Now it's the time to check our Mixtape app. I'm going to disconnect the microphone for a while here. The stars lean down. Hope you have liked the video. If so, please don't forget to hit the like button. It means a lot to me. And also, if you have any doubt regarding the tutorial, you can comment in the comment section below. And if you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Thank you for your time and I'll see you in the next video.